No way, I think I just saw someone. Someone extraordinary.
Make a wish.
Sound lingers. Are you a Knight of Beauty? That's right. This If I'm not wrong, the Knights of Beauty also received an invitation from the Watchmaker, right? Actually, we've already met the Watchmaker. Thank you, Knight of Beauty. In that case, let's make our way to the end. Penacony's really thronging with talent. I hope we make it in time.
Congratulations to the both of you on becoming the festive superstars of this year's Charmony Festival. Before entering the Grand Theater, I, on behalf of the organizers, extend my sincere congratulations to you, wishing you joy under their radiance. As previously promised, my sister, Mr. Yang, and I have met with the Dream Master. We delved into the truth about Penacony and its Stellaron, and have come to a consensus. Both I and the Oak family cannot acquiesce to your request.
Just as expected.
We acknowledge the perspective of you, Nameless. Penacony does require change, but not as you propose. The planet of festivities cannot and will not revert to a place characterized by chaos, disorder, or anarchy. Through your journey of overcoming obstacles, you must have glimpsed the essence of that era. The vulnerable ruthlessly eliminated, equality non-existent, common folk living precarious lives, eking out a dreary existence. Ultimately, only heroes like yourselves manage to achieve success. But I would dare ask, if you did not possess the special status of having a Stellaron, and you were but an anonymous and frail member among the masses, which Penacony would you prefer? A dystopia for the survival of the fittest, or a sweet dream paradise for all?
you.
Mr. Sunday, even if the members of the Oak family can't fully agree on what to do about the Stellaron, now's not exactly the time to be holding an extensive discourse about Penacony's past and future, is it? The Stellaron issue concerns the life and death of everyone on Penacony. If anyone has a better suggestion, the crew is more than this way. We'll at least know what Welt and Miss Robin are dealing with, and the reason why they failed to make our appointment.
Ah, Navigator. That is precisely my intention. With all present, let's begin by discussing the details of that meeting. Let's talk about our tribulations and choices, our ideals and beliefs, and our final course of action. The only path to take.
You mean to say that for the longest time, there have been scoundrels who would use the Charmony Festival that I have bequeathed to the masses?
Indeed, Dream Master. Once the Charmony Festival begins, the Stellaron's powers, along with the song, will be broadcast across the entire planet of Penacony. And then everyone in their dreams will be unable to awaken.
This is indeed surprising to me. The dreamscape is maintained by the collective effort of the 5 families. Do you have any
I'd like to ask, did you really not know of the Stellaron's?
I would have never thought that this nameless...
If I have offended, the Astral Express extends its sincere apologies. But the current...
Dream Master, it's just to prove that the Charmony Festival has nothing to do with the Stellaron. If we're being overly cautious, I will return...
Sunday, Robin, I've watched you two grow up. The magnitude of this matter is enormous and cannot be taken lightly. Sit Sunday. Might I ask you to beseech them to cast their light unto me?
I will do as you command.
Robin, could I entrust you to be present?
I will do as you command.
May thy will be carried out on...
Oh, triple-faced soul. Please sear his tongue and palms with a...
Let us begin. There is nothing else to prepare.
Understood. Question. Have you devoted your life to your god, never worshipping other gods?
Naturally.
Do you love your god as you do yourself, always heeding their admonishment?
Naturally.
Have you strayed from the path expected by your god, betraying their name?
Never.
Have you ever been inordinate with your asks of your...
Never.
Then, a final question. Do you swear to fulfill all vows, past, present, and future?
With the Eon as my witness, if I do not deliver on my word...
They have seen your faith, and have endorsed your...
Just a moment.
What is it, Mr. Yang?
I have another question I hope to have answered. To my understanding, the family's harmony and prosperity have the god you both mentioned. Are they truly Shipe?
Mr. Yang should know that those belonging to the family toil together as if they were kin. Such a delicate and complex symphony.
Perfectly harmonized. Therein lies the problem. It isn't an outsider lurking in the shadows who changed the harmony, but a dissonance that has surreptitiously emerged from within this very symphony. In the distant past, there existed an Eon. With one flick of the wrist, they crafted the laws of the cosmos. Their followers formed the Beyond the Sky Choir, spreading solemn and reverent hymns. Later, they fell. The route traversed by this Eon clashed with the harmony, ultimately being, though an Eon may perish, paths with no masters still...
Mr. Yang, being overly astute can be a detriment. Especially when you find yourself alone and without ally.
So this is how it is.
For the sake of our grand cause someday, please afford these two an opportunity to rest.
What?
Sorry, Robin. It's just you. I did not wish for you to know that.
So, this is the true reason I can't sing? The shadow that envelops Penacony is actually...
We were never children of the Harmony. Our ideal paradise. Within the foundation of law, humanity establishes civilization, and through harmony, we obtain order.
Unbelievable. To think that there would be remnants of the Order on Penacony.
What have you done with Mr. Yang and Miss Robin?
Don't worry. I just gave them some time alone to ponder their fates.
You should know that these actions make you an enemy of the Astral Express.
Should we need to stand against the Nameless, it would only be myself and the Oak family involved. But we haven't reached that point yet. Your efforts for the justice of Penacony are evident to everyone, and have been widely observed. Patience is a virtue. However...
If it is the Order that drove you to imprison Welt and Robin, and you're using them to coerce our compliance, then there'll be no point in entertaining any type of discussion.
You're mistaken, Miss Himiko. They are in very safe hands, and just as the family has always proclaimed, no one can be harmed in the dreamscape, least of all in the beautiful new world belonging to the Order. Penacony and the entire universe have witnessed far too much innocent bloodshed. The strong wield their blades against the weak. Natural selection. The world abides by this principle, establishing the well-being of humanity atop the corpses of the downtrodden. Only we...
So you've decided to resurrect a dead Eon? No one's ever done such a thing.
If Miss Himiko is interested, let's draw back the veil and I'm willing to divulge the unembellished truth as to the intentions of the Order's Pathstriders, so that you will make better judgment for the Astral Express, for Penacony, and for this stretch of the universe. Words can hardly do justice to the beauty of that idea. So, come with me, everyone. Let us retrace our steps and see once again where this road leads.
Huh? Where'd he go?
Welcome. This isn't any location in Penacony's dreamscape. It's my inner world. The reason the scenery before you remains unchanged is because you're
That means...
Did you do the same to Welt?
It's a tuning process. Stronger in effect and more draining on the mind. The gray-haired guest. Tuning allows you to intuitively grasp my feet. Now, everyone, please look at the huge screen. The road we once took begins here. From this point on, you will witness the numerous decisions I've faced. I've selected a portion of these to share with you. I believe after going through similar Let's begin. This story happened when Robin and I were very young. We were victims of the Stellaron disaster. Later on, Robin and I lived a time with nary a care in the world. That baby bird was tiny. It didn't even have all of its feathers, and it couldn't sing. When we found it, it was already on its last breath. We decided to build a nest for it right there and then. However, it was clear that if we left the fledgling in the yard, it stood no chance of surviving until spring. So, I suggested we take it inside, place it on the shelf by the window, and asked the adults to fashion. We decided that when it regained its strength enough to spread its destiny was determined by our momentary. Now, I pass the power of choice to you all. Faced with this, stick to the original plan, and build a nest with soft net where the Charmony dove fell. Or build a cage for it, and feed it, giving it the utmost care from within the warmth of a home. I eagerly await your answer.
It looks like he really has no intention of... Back to the question. I would personally choose... No special reason. I do think that a fledgling should have the right to fly into the sky.
I can't decipher his intentions right now, but based solely on that question, I would probably choose to build that dove a cage. Even if I was gonna release it back into the sky, it'd have to be strong enough to fly first.
That guy just casually... If it were me, I guess I'd choose to... After all, leaving it there, it's bound to get hurt.
Interesting. Since you've made up your mind, from what I've observed, there are at least 3 predators in that yard that prey. Even if they shy away from humans, these animals are still near a... As for the choice you made, I am deeply sorry. This story happened when I was appointed as Bronze Melodia, a position exclusive. It was during that period. He was a dream chaser. He told me he had a plan in place. After hearing the dream chaser, I'll tell you the outcome soon. Will you do as I did, or will you remain silent? I look forward to everyone's decision.
A dream chaser story. But what cruel...
This question, I'd probably choose to ask the blood.
I'm honored to witness you arriving at the same decision. First, the outcome. Now then, did he really... He told me the reason he was in this... In the end, my heart alone. As to your choice, I once again offer my heartfelt apologies. And the story this time. This story happened. What surprised me was that the letter contained the usual pleasantries, anecdotes.
Do you know who wrote?
My sister, of course.
To help you grasp the full...
From what the letter indicates, she must...
Correct.
A stray...
A war has broken out on that planet. It is because of this very reason that she hoped to ease the people's suffering.
Is she all right?
If the operation was successful, she should... By the eon above, the bullet struck her neck directly, yet
Those damned savages!
Now you understand why she always wears such elaborate neck.
How could this happen?
It's all in the past. So likewise, I've prepared because this is merely a figment of imagination. Would you still support Robin's...
I often feel like their confusion and if Mr. Sunday with each trailblaze.
Miss Robin's courage is admirable, but the fact that she is also Mr. Sunday's younger sister...
I can't believe that happened to Miss Robin.
I see. I am now aware of everyone's stances. Raising these questions merely serves to illustrate one point. The plight of Penacony cannot be salvaged by the Harmony. The true foundation for a sweet dream paradise. I know the suffering of being tormented, the turmoil of losing your way, how sorrow and even despair set in when matters don't work out. All of this causes me unending pain, because this is not what happiness is at all. We must teach the weak how to live a happy life. And this life isn't some noble propriety that the upper crust preaches, but in definitive...
So what is your definition of living?
Good question. Human consciousness is fundamentally an illusion. When one mistake after the next permeates the masses, they become impossible to trace. Thus, the amassing of these individual cages culminate to form a prison. A place dictated only by the rule of survival of the fit. Nature is always accompanied by predation and sacrifice. Its antithesis is known as order. That is what I want to do. Unite people's happiness under the banner of order. They won't need to make bitter choices any longer, nor face the weaknesses of humanity. Simply describing thoughts is far too abstract. So allow me to provide a simple example. During these hard-earned rest days, people are given the chance to extricate themselves from the stresses of everyday life, allowing a certain... And it is only on these days that people do not have to adhere to the law where the strong prey on the weak. From where I stand, society's ideal system should be 7 rest days. Following Sunday, there should ensue a second, a third, and indeed an infinite procession of Sundays. And thus, every person can return to their base selves in this utopia. Some gaze in reverence at the stars, pouring their whole beings into calculating the distance between us and the isolated world of Pagana. Meanwhile, some seek refuge in quiet corners, holding one another, unencumbered by the chains of unwelcome obligation. There would be no need to bear the hardships of reality. Only in this way can humanity face the inevitable end with the purest of spirit. Miss Firefly, you who are stricken with entropy loss syndrome, you of all would surely understand this.
It sounds like a flawless theory.
But what is the price to attain all this?
The cost is minute, merely a personal and eternal sacrifice. If this paradise is to be maintained for everyone, someone must remain trapped in solitary wakening until the end of the
Awakening. Which means that this so-called paradise is still a dream. Stepping into this paradise means forsaking reality, correct?
It is not forsaking, but transcending. Flesh, blood, sorrow, weakness. If the physical is the root of spiritual suffering, it is only logical that we defeat.
But in this supposed bliss, people won't have defeated their demons. The chance to overcome their tribulations would be forever lost to them. In other words, it is an escape.
That's another way of understanding it. But there is no shame in escape. On the contrary, the seeds of escape exist in everyone's hearts. Don't you agree, Miss Firefly? And as to why we sleep, it is because we are afraid to awaken from our dream. But this is not in conflict with the grand plan. Only in acknowledging this can we truly understand the frailty of human nature, and from there, show compassion and protection.
I admit that you are a born leader. Your perspective on humanity brims with pessimism. Yet you express compassion for all. Even when your heart pities them. But unlike you, I live for the self. From my perspective, individuals making choices for themselves is their birthright. The want to escape may be innate in the weak. But whether they are weak or not, it is not up to another to decide. Perhaps in your mind, you also view me as weak? Because I don't think so.
Since Miss Firefly has said her piece, the Astral Express will also naturally give you our answer. We'll leave it to you. Just as Mr. McHale instructed before. Tell him our choice.
What is this place?
Does this place ring any bells, Misha?
I don't know, but I feel a sense of deja vu.
It's the realm within a dream bubble. This was left to the Astral Express by a nameless, but weirdly, when we entered it, it was Dr. Edward from the Dreamscape sales store told me that dreams are formed from memories, and a dream bubble can't take shape. If so, I thought you might be able to help us in unraveling this mystery.
I don't know much about dream bubbles, but if you want to figure out what this mansion is, I'll do my best.
I'm counting on you then.
Himeko, I still don't get it. Why were you so sure that Misha had a connection?
I wasn't sure. It was just a hunch. But since Misha feels familiar with this place, my hunch... Exactly. This is where you and Firefly encountered death, which we now know as dormancy. Considering its connection to Dreamflux Reef, it's not surprising it appeared here. The question now is, who brought you here? Based on the clues we have so far, it's unlikely to be that masked fool. We're drawing closer to the truth once more. Let's give Misha some time, as I believe he'll unveil the secret of this dream bubble.
All right, but there are doors all over the place. Which one should we choose? Do you have any idea, Misha?
I guess... maybe this way? I'm not entirely sure, but... let's give it a try.
Wait, you managed to choose the right door on your first try?
Weird. This place is quite different from the hotel. But I feel like I've been here before. If I remember correctly, there should be a fireplace and the room on the other side was... Hold on. This doesn't make sense. Didn't I grow up in Dreamflux Reef?
This could be a case of amnesia. But don't worry, Misha. It's common for everyone to... Since this place seems familiar to you...
Yeah, then let...
Mikhail, that's the name. Now we all know him as the Watchmaker. So, who is he talking to? Do you know anything about it,
I'm sorry. I don't know much about the Watchmaker. But...
Anything special about that name?
Mikhail is Grandpa's name.
Grandpa? Do you mean you're the Watchmaker's grandson?
But we haven't heard anything about the Watchmaker having descendants. And the name Mikhail is not rare. Perhaps it's merely a coincidence. Could you tell us more about your grandpa, Mikhail?
Yeah, sure. He was a seafarer who fearlessly ventured into mystique. He didn't want me to call him Grandpa because that would make him sound old. He believed he was still young. The name Mikhail was every time he came back, he'd share his logbook with me and tell me about his...
It appears that the seafarer has nothing to do with the watchmaker. So, perhaps it's just a coincidence? So, where is your grandpa now?
He went off on a new journey. And it's been quite a while since I last saw him. So, where has Clocky gone? Did he leave to protect Dreamville? Tick-tock. I heard some noises.
You and Origami Bird are friends?
Yeah. It's a member of the Compass crew, just like Clocky and Miss Mirror. And there's more than just one Origami Bird. They follow Miss Mirror's orders and handle all sorts of jobs on the ship. They're the best sailors.
Sailors? Can Origami Birds be sailors?
Could you tell us more about the compass, Misha?
The Compass is a ship bound for the New World. Clocky and his partners travel through layers of fog to the depths of the sea. Whenever there is danger, Clocky will use a compass and guide the ship in the right...
That's a great story. But in the Penacony cartoon, Clocky and his partners have always lived...
Huh? Oh, that does seem to be the Cape Weird. I clearly remember... Clocky arrived in the New World in the end.
Perhaps Clocky has a hidden past.
I think... I hear the sound of water.
You once mentioned there's a magnificent fountain up ahead. Look, there it is!
The water resembles a precious jewel. Every time I gaze at the shimmering lights beneath the waves, it feels as though I'm back in this place, standing by your side.
Have you recalled anything, Misha?
Yeah, I saw these sentences in Grandpa's logbook. He used to say that despite the perils of the sea, he often said that those moments felt like returning to his family's side. And the difficulties at sea didn't seem quite as challenging.
You know, I quite understand such sentiments. I'm not an elder. I was just being a bit sentimental.
Perhaps every adventurer far from home carries a fountain within their soul. Even though the other side of the sea remains shrouded in the unknown, the fountain in front of his house serves as a compass, leading him...
Yeah, while Grandpa was at home, we would stand by the fountain and place the compass, a toy boat that I made, into the pool. Back then, I would ask him when I could go on adventures like him, and he would always laugh and say I was still too young.
It seems this Mikhail is truly a seafarer and has nothing to do with the watchmaker.
Yeah. Based on Misha's recollections, the scenes in the dream bubble appear to be his childhood memory.
But this raises more questions. According to Misha, he was clearly born on an oceanic planet and led an ordinary life, with no connection to Penacony at all. Could this be some sort of metaphor? Perhaps the sea refers to the
I'm sorry. My memories keep pouring out uncontrollably, like water flowing from a fountain. Perhaps I'll remember more things if we go further. I wish to share your burden.
We're going to the opposite side, right?
No, we should turn left here.
Huh? Something feels different about...
Up ahead is Grandpa's study.
The atmosphere in this room feels total...
Misha! You finally come!
Clocky, you're here! Huh. Yeah. This is the room where we first met each other.
Are those books on the bookshelf logbooks left behind by that seafarer?
Yeah. Whenever he came back, He placed a logbook on the bookshelf in his room. They contain records of his expeditions to every corner of the world. He described our world as a fountain. At some point, the sea started to gradually swallow up the land where people lived. To ensure that everyone had land to settle on, he had to continue exploring the sea and search for the source of the rising seawater. On that day, he called me to his study, telling me that he was embarking on another journey. However, I could sense the gravity in his expression. It was the same look. I asked him if I could go with him, but he...
What sound?
He told me about a vast ocean in the sky. An ocean of stars. He spoke of he said that he knew the crew on the train.
A train? Could it be?
It's the Astral Express. I remember now. Grandpa's friends are a group of nameless who came to this world to resolve a disaster caused by a star. Then, he gave his pocket watch to me. He said, as long as I kept moving forward, I'd eventually reach my desired destination. The distant sound of a train whistle, echoing.
Exactly, Misha! And then we followed that whistle,
Yeah. I think I can still find the way we took back then.
This is the dream jigsaw, right? So we're supposed to...
Do you remember? You said you obtained a mysterious...
Hey, the shape seems to match...
Looks like we're just one step from revealing the truth.
This is it. This is my room of clock. While I spent my time waiting for Grandpa to return from his voyage, Walter gave me this workshop, and it became my secret base. Here, I learned how to repair clockworking gears out of my fondness of precision mechanics. In my dreams, I was born and raised here.
So, this building in the dream bubble is your childhood home?
Yes, but not exactly. To be more precise, this dream bubble itself is my home.
Looks like you've remembered everything now.
Wait. Why does it feel like everyone else knows something I don't?
March, do you remember when he mentioned a clocky that only he could see?
Yeah, the little guy here, right? But we all saw him in Dreamflux Reef, right? And Mr. Yang even greeted him.
Looks like everyone on the Astral Express has a childlike spirit.
The answer lies in the Astral Express. His experience shows that neither Firefly nor Acheron can see this clocky. And when we were in Dreamflux Reef, you may have noticed that for some reason, nobody outside of the crew had ever talked with Clocky. A mimetic life that can only be seen by a select few. It's just like a hidden message left by someone for the nameless.
But Misha can see Clocky too, right? They even grew up together. But Misha hasn't started the way of the Trailblaze yet.
That's the key to the mystery, March. Now, take a moment to recall. Have you ever seen anyone outside of the crew interact with Misha?
Wait. No, wait!
That's the answer, March 7th. This dream bubble is the place where I was born. And I'm a dweller in this. I should have stayed here and waited for you. when reality and memories merged. I unconsciously pushed open that door and left the bubble.
So it's not that the Watchmaker's dream bubble is empty, but rather the stuff inside ran away, and the whistle you heard was the sound of the express arriving at Pentecost.
That's one way to see it, but I believe there's a longer story behind all this. It's best for... How about we start with your name? Now, should we call you Misha, or...
Thank you all for helping me rediscover my true self. Now, please allow me to reintroduce myself. I was born on Lushaka, in the Presmere system, adopted by seafarers Mikhail Char Legwork, or simply Misha. If you prefer, you can call me by a more familiar name, the Watchmaker.
So, you're the Watchmaker himself?
Unfortunately, that legendary figure is no more. I am only a reflection of his life. As for the child who has been with you, he's the innocent protagonist of Misha's childhood dream. A friend of Clonky, a young apprentice, and a future mechanic on the And this also marks the beginning of his journey, devoted to the Trailblaze.
At the end of the journey, I left this little flame, which I so cherished, in my deepest dreams, hoping to pass it on to the Nameless. However, he somehow left the dream bubble and forgot all about his task. I apologize for all the
Because he was born with a desire to trailblaze, wasn't he? I don't think Misha has forgotten his role as a guide. He remembered it, and that's why he mistakenly appeared as a hotel doorman in his dream from the very beginning. The one who brought our unconscious friend here must have been Misha. If that's the case, we encountered the Watchmaker's legacy from the beginning, did it?
Well, I have a sarcastic friend who says I always take big detours and end up back where I started. But in the end, you found me. I'm sure you're all wondering what my legacy is. I believe my hound has mentioned... If I may apologize, the Stellaron part is real. As for my wealth, I left my homeland as a child and embarked on the journey of Trailblaze. I traveled to various planets. I've been moving forward all my life, doing what I could to overcome the obstacles in my path. So, if you ask what's left within this worn-out train engine that can be called a legacy, now that you're well aware of the current situation of Penteconia, I certainly hope that you'll help me get this world back on track. But I'll leave that decision to you, for the path of Trailblaze is never paved by... All I have for you is a story and 2 gifts. I want to give you my pocket watch. It has accompanied me throughout my long journey, guiding that naive child forward, and has been blessed with the presence of so many great people up to... And my hat, too. The one who navigated for me placed it on my head and planted a fanciful thought in my mind. The trailblazing expedition will never end. Now, it's time for you to make your choice. Once you've made up your mind, open that door and enter the long dream of an old man. I'll be waiting for you at the end of this corridor of time.
All right, everyone. Let's make a decision, although I don't think anyone will have any objection.
Of course. We've come this far. Surely there's no other option than moving forward.
In that case, it's unanimous. Then let's proceed together to the end of this stream and tell Mikhail our decision.
going?
Someone has to step up and save Lushaka. So why can't it be me?
Please don't go. And if you must, please take me with you. Don't leave.
Even without me, you know how to proceed forward, brave Captain Misha. Now go, board that train and start your journey.
Where are you going, Mikhail?
I'm going to clean the floor in the parlor car. I've promised the conductor.
Wait, first tell me, did you fix this watch?
Yeah?
I know what it looked like before. Its chain was broken, the back case torn, and the marks on the dial.
Well, it's the hands, Mr. Amundsen. Its hands were intact and pointing at...
I see. You'll work with me from now on. Haven't you always wanted to?
But I only know how to...
Don't worry. You've got what it takes.
Where are you going, legwork? It's time to head to our next stop.
I'm staying in Astana with Rosalina and Tiernan.
I see. This place reminds you of home.
The people of Astana have only achieved a tiny victory and still have a long way to go towards true freedom. Hanunu needs us. Don't worry, not all journeys lead to the stars. Even if I leave the Express, our path of trailblaze will continue.
Yeah. I knew you wouldn't stay on the Express forever. Leave in peace, my friend. And, take this with you.
This is Mr. Amundsen's hat. But...
When he departed, he said he would leave it to his best student. Well, I suppose the time has come. Farewell, legwork. Take care of Tiernan and Rosalina. And don't forget to... write to us.
Where are you going, Watchmaker?
Don't worry, Micah. Just going on a little trip. Someone has to be at the forefront of the interstellar frontier, and I'm the only former nameless in Penacony. So why can't it be me?
Because you're all we have. Have you forgotten about Tiernan? The cosmos is way more dangerous now.
But what will happen to Penacony if we... Tiernan. How could I ever forget him? I've spent countless sleepless nights asking myself why I didn't go with him back. We Nameless won't stop. Don't worry, Micah. It's just a matter of getting back to my old profession. Just if I don't come back in one piece, then you'll become the next Watchmaker.
Where are you going, old man?
Oh, you're here.
Answer my question. What are you up to?
Relax, Gallagher. I just came up with a great idea. Wanna hear it?
Oh, come on! Aren't all your ideas just ways to get yourself killed? If you die too, the secret of the Stellaron will go to the grave with you.
Yes. I'm afraid there's no way out in Penacony, so I'll have to consider alternatives beyond Asdon. We'll organize a festival using the Watchmaker's legacy as a facade, and send invitations to the entire cosmos to gather people.
So... a desperate struggle against the family?
Desperate? Don't we have you here, my friend? This task is to make sure to send an invitation to the Astral Express.
Misha! Where are you going?
Oh, it's you, Clocky. Take me to Dreamflux 3. Last night, I had a long dream about the day we met.
Write it down? Why?
Oh, so I won't forget it. Do you?
Of course! You told me that when you were a kid?
Yes, but what I didn't mention was I was a kid. And there was always a special... I wanted to have a pocket watch like that too. And that's when you appeared.
Yeah. Every night, we boarded the compass.
But you know what? It wasn't until the day my grandpa gave it to me that I realized it wasn't a pocket watch at all. It was a compass. So your name should have been Compassy, and the Watchmaker is just a nameless.
We've arrived at Dreamflux Reef. So, where to next?
You know, Clocky, I don't think I'll be going anywhere else.